My name is Jen Walker-Wall. I'm the founder of Work Wonders Careers. I know that 2020 has been an incredibly difficult year, and that's why I'm excited to bring you the stories of our clients who've managed to land jobs during this difficult time. I've interviewed 3 clients for the series. One is a parent, one has had to pivot her career after her industry was deeply impacted, and one is a former business owner who's transitioned successfully into traditional employment. And they've all landed offers between May and September of 2020. My hope is that you will be inspired by their stories and that you will listen to the lessons that they've learned about what's helped them to be standout candidates, even when so many people are actively job seeking. In our first interview, our former client Erika will share her story of job searching, the changes she made when she started working with us, and why applying to fewer jobs led to better results. I'm so excited for you to hear Erika's story and can't wait to hear what you think. Hi, Erika. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your pandemic job search story with us. To get started, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and your professional interests?
Absolutely. It's good to be here with you, Jen. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk with you. I'm thrilled to talk about this. I started job searching about a month prior to the pandemic starting. And of course, I went through the ups and downs of, oh my gosh, now that this crisis is happening in the world, how am I going to find a new job? And are people even hiring? That's a hard debate to have in your head. And for me, I think the way that I overcame that debate is I just kind of pushed it back and I said, I can't answer that question today. I'm going to let that go and I'm going to control the things I can control, which is I'm going to apply to the jobs that I want to apply to, and I'm going to be positive that there is going to be something out there for me.
It is hard to take that leap of faith, but that's what we have found is that even people whose industries have really been deeply impacted by what's going on, they still have transferable skills and they still are able to find other opportunities that are going to be a good match for both their short-term and long-term career goals. So I'm glad to hear that that's the most important part is if you want a new job, you do have to keep going, right? And believe that it's possible and look for those opportunities. Can you share a little bit about what your job search looked like? Like, what were you doing? What did it entail? How much time did it take before we started working together?
Sure. Um, I was putting in, probably 10 hours a week. I was continually searching for job openings. I felt like I was searching every board that existed. Like it was like almost an obsession. And I was trying to apply to as many as possible. And a lot of the jobs that I applied to were not really jobs that I wanted. And so I had very little motivation to try and um, personalize my application so that it really applied to that particular job. And so I wasn't putting my best foot forward in that situation. Once you and I started talking, once I started working with you, you gave me the permission and you said, no, you don't need to apply to every job that's out there. Apply to the ones you care about. And when you apply to those jobs, yeah, you're going to have to personalize your application so that it applies to that particular job offering and also so that you stand out and your strengths stand out. So having those two pieces of sort of permission in my hands really helped me to take control of my job search and allowed me to spend less time being obsessed with finding a job. And it also allowed me to be more positive because when all you're doing is searching and looking at what jobs are out there, I know I kept saying, well, this one's not for me. This one's not for me. And that can be very demotivating over time for sure. So yeah, the focus really allowed me to minimize my searching and also to kind of focus a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's so important that people hear that. When you're a mid-career professional, you have 5, 10, 15, 20 years of work experience. You are in a position to be strategic and savvy, and reminding people that you get to choose the next job as much as the next job gets to choose you in many, many ways. And it never feels that way when you start your job search because it feels so insurmountable and you feel like, pick me, pick me. But we do help. We do try to encourage our clients to flip that around because we want you to pick something that's going to be a really great opportunity for you. How long was your job search? It wasn't particularly long, if I'm remembering correctly. It probably felt really long.
Yeah, it felt long. I started really thinking about doing the job search in December of 2019. I kind of got pushed to, okay, I'm going to have to do it in January, but I really didn't commit and start doing the job search till February. And then I found a job. I was offered a position in June. And that was kind of a long process because I did like a feedback loop with them, and it wasn't until July that I had the final offer. So I still continued to look, while I was going through that sort of final offer phase, but I really have lucked out, and I've gotten my dream job, something I've wanted to do since I was a kid. I didn't think I could do, and I'm really thrilled to be able to do this now. So.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. Can you share a little bit about, like, obviously the pandemic made things uncertain in terms of the job market, but can you share a little bit about like what your life looked like while you were job searching? Like, how was your work and life impacted, and how did it impact your job search just from like your own perspective, your own experience of the pandemic?
I spent a lot of time in the evenings doing my job search, but I do have to say that with the pandemic, having the opportunity to work from home did make it easier when I had situations come up when I needed to interview, because I could just block out my calendar and say, I'm unavailable to work at this time, and I didn't have to go and try and hide that I was going for a job interview, which to me was very helpful, less stressful. You feel more honest. You're just saying, I'm unavailable at this time. That's it. And so for me, a lot of my job search happened in the evenings. I would edit things in the evenings, and upload those and submit those as soon as I possibly could. I tried to have really quick turnarounds when I saw a job opportunity in the area I was interested in.
That's great. I think a lot of people are finding like the lack of commute adds a little bit of time into their day that they can really take advantage of. So yeah, evenings and having a little bit more energy from the lack of commute and not having to come up with a dentist appointment that takes you out of commission for
Yeah.
half the day while you're interviewing is certainly helpful. So the people who are watching this are job seekers in the middle of a pandemic and all kinds of other stuff going on. Is there any advice that you would offer the people who are watching, other folks in the Work Wonders community who are wondering if this process is going to work out for them like it did for you?
Absolutely. So, right before I started working with you, Jen, I don't know if you remember, I'd had a situation occur where I applied to a job that was lower level than what I currently was at, but was in an area, it was in a university, and I felt like it was a perfect fit for me. And I felt like I could absolutely do that, no problem. And it would be a great stepping stone into a new direction in my career. I had even been told by the hiring manager I would get called in for an interview. A week later, he sent me an email and said, I'm sorry, we've decided to go a different direction. And I was crushed. And I thought, how is this possible? I would be a perfect fit. I already had my mind planned on how this was going to go in my life. And I was upset about losing that opportunity for quite a while. But what I do have to say is I'm so glad I didn't get that job, because if I had, I would have missed out on the one I have, which is so much better. And I love it so much more. So I would just say to those of you that are still out there looking, be aware that there is something great for you. You need to stay positive, stay focused, and it'll happen. It will happen.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erica. I'm so glad you found a dream job. You were a dream to work with. So it was really nice to see your face again today and really appreciate that you're sharing your story with everyone. And we're wishing you the best of luck in your new job.
Great. Thank you so much. And I wish the best of luck to everyone as well.
Awesome. Thank you.